Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tahir and you are watching live HR Consultants Pakistan. First of all, I would like to inform all the viewers that today I am with representative of Manchester University, Mr. Chris, and also with HR UK manager. If you have any query, you can contact on this number 0346 or you can place an inquiry in comment section. Now over to you, Ms. Nadia. You can ask the questions.
Assalamu alaikum viewers. Today with the HR consultants, we have University of Manchester. Chris from University of Manchester is here to give us the, we have a question answer session. So probably Chris will be giving the answers to the students on the inquiries. I'll just give you a little introduction about the Manchester. So University of Manchester, with the HR consultants, we are the trusted partners for the University of Manchester. HR consultants is a trust-oriented organizations, and people can apply for the admissions. You can place your application for the University of Manchester now, and we are here to support you in the admissions, in the counseling session, and for later on when the visa process too. A brief note on the University of Manchester is a public research university in Manchester. So they are the historic institution known for its known for groundbreaking discoveries and high quality research with a global impact. University of Manchester is a prestigious part of Russell Group universities with their outstanding facilities of the wide range of the courses. So Chris, over to you for the University of Manchester, please.
Thank you very much, Nadia. Yeah, so I'll just introduce myself and say a little bit quickly about the university before we start taking questions. So my name is Chris Gibson. I am the University of Manchester's country manager for Pakistan, and what that means is that my job is to help support students from Pakistan with their applications to come to Manchester, okay? As Nadia mentioned, Manchester is a member of the prestigious Russell Group. Anybody who doesn't know what that means yet, it's like the Ivy League in the USA. Manchester is the 27th best university in the world. We're the 6th best university in the UK, which puts us right up at the top there with your Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, UCL, all those kinds of places. And yeah, we're really proud of kind of what we offer at Manchester. I myself, I was born in Manchester, I come from Manchester, and I studied a master's in politics at the University of Manchester. So I've experienced the university from both sides as a student and now working to support other students coming to the University of Manchester. So yeah, on that's a very quick introduction from me, but let's get straight into the questions because I know we want to be interactive today, right?
Yes. Now, Chris, we just want that if you give us a little introduction about the Manchester itself, because which are the major faculties the University of Manchester are, and what are the famous courses or faculties in the Pakistani students, so that everyone should know about the Manchester for Pakistan.
Yeah, sure. So Manchester offers a really wide range of courses. You can study more or less anything that you can think of, all the way from anthropology through all types of engineering to zoology and that kind of thing, right? We're very well known, particularly for sciences and engineering. You can see this guy behind me. This is Kostya Novoselov. He is one of our professors. He is famous for being one half of the team that isolated the new super material graphene. He actually won a Nobel Prize for that work that he did at the University of Manchester. And he is one of 25 Nobel Prize winners in our history. So engineering is really well respected at Manchester. All forms of science, we have a very strong department of biology, medicine and health. So you can study biological sciences, biomedical sciences, medicine, dentistry, those kinds of things as well. And on the social sciences side, we're also very well respected. I myself studied politics at Manchester because of the reputation of the university. Other social sciences like history, that kind of thing, if you're interested in that. But yeah, our discoveries and innovations over the past have been in the areas of computer science, all types of engineering, particularly chemical engineering, and the sciences subjects.
That's great. Chris, because for the University of Manchester, when we are going to process the application, So the important thing is the application process for University of Manchester, because normally when we are processing to the other institutions in the UK, so normally we get the responses within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. But normally with the University of Manchester, you people have a different system. Can you please give us a small process about small hint about the application process, so that the student should know, because normally the student get reluctant when it's a longer time once the application is taking up. I know you people are doing best, but this is how I believe that this is your application process. But I believe that every student should know that how the Manchester is going to process.
Yes, absolutely. So I receive this question very frequently as well. The University of Manchester is we're a really big institution. We've got about 40,000 students in total, and our admissions are handled by little admissions teams within each department, and those departments get many thousands of applications every year. So it takes us a little bit of time to process applications. I imagine that most of you guys watching and on the call as well will be interested in masters. The masters application process is a little bit different, as Nadia mentioned just then. So many of our departments use a process called staged admissions. And what staged admissions means is that there are, throughout the months leading up through the application process, there are usually 4 or 5 different deadlines. And they will say to you, if you apply by this date, we will respond to you by this date. The second date, the response date, is usually about 4 weeks after the deadline. So anytime you submit before that deadline, you'll be guaranteed a response by 1 month after that deadline. I would say when you are deciding which course to apply to, on our website, every course has its own web page, right? And you can search that by keyword on our website, or you can speak to HR consultants and they'll be able to find that information for you. There's usually a tab titled Application and Selection, and that tab will give you the details of the deadline dates and the guaranteed response dates. But yeah, you're right. It's our application process is a little bit different, and it can take, depending on when you submit, up to about 4 or 6 weeks to hear back from the university. Yeah, that's not unusual, and you should be ready for it, and don't panic if you don't hear anything within a week or 2 weeks. That's very normal.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I believe we should go with the calls, because the students are just waiting to talk with you. I guess we need to talk with Sarah first. Sarah, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Sarah, you are more than welcome that you are here with the HR panel, and Chris from the University of Manchester is with us. So which program you get the offer for Manchester?
I'm currently an offer holder for the MSc Human Resource Management and Industrial Relations program. And I'm supposed to be starting in this September, inshallah.
Okay, great. So do you have any questions, concerns, or any information you want from University of Manchester, because the person is with us?
Yeah, I do have one question actually. So a few weeks ago, we were sent an email to fill out a survey that was asking what we think should be done about the COVID-19 situation, about whether the semester should commence in September or whether it should be delayed till January 2021. And a lot of students, including myself, wanted the semester to start in January 2021 and end it in January 2022. But the university decided to take online classes for the first semester. And personally for me, and I think most students coming from another country to study in a foreign university, I think they come for more than just the quality of education and the degree. There's exposure, there's meeting people from different cultures, there's using the university facilities. So I was just curious as to why the university decided to continue the semester in September.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, congratulations on your offer, Sarah. You've done really well to get an offer for that course, in spite of all of the application problems that I just outlined. In terms of the start of the year, for master's courses, part of the reason that we chose not to go with the January start is because of the length of the program. So because of all the different teaching that happens at Manchester, to put master's programs out of sync with everything else was not a practical solution for the teaching staff and for the other staff at the university, because there's so much going on at Manchester. So we wanted to keep everything as in line as possible. In terms of the online segment, we've obviously advised offer holders that our big lectures that where social distancing would not be possible will be moved online. But I do want to emphasize that the intention at this point, and obviously we don't know how the situation is going to develop or what the UK government's advice will be in terms of whether the campus is allowed to open and that sort of thing. We're still waiting for guidance on that from the government. So our approach is kind of designed to be ideally a combination between online big lectures where social distancing is not possible, and if possible and safe, face-to-face teaching in smaller groups where you would be able to social distance. So the idea is that seminar content, and you'll kind of be familiar with the module structure where there's a lecture and a seminar for every class. The idea is for seminars, if possible, to be delivered face-to-face. And so we are advising students that if they can join us in Manchester, they should, because we understand obviously that it's not just about the quality of the degree. Obviously it's about the cultural experience of coming to the UK, studying in Manchester, experiencing the city and all of that kind of thing. So we've designed this approach to be flexible, to allow students to study online if they have to, but also to accommodate, if possible, students to come and physically be with us in Manchester. I would also say as well that as an offer holder, I believe you should have had an email about the start of year arrangements, which will have told you about the new start date. So we've moved the start date slightly backwards into October. I think the master's start date is now the 25th or 26th of October, with an extended induction and orientation period before that, which is all accessible online and starts at the end of September. So our measures are to move the start date back slightly, but not back as far as January, to offer online teaching where it's not safe for students to be in close contact with each other, and the intention then is to offer a combination of online and face-to-face teaching if we can and if it's safe to do so in the autumn. Does that kind of answer your question, Sarah?
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you. I also have another question, if you don't mind. What are how long? I know you're accepting deferrals as of right now, but I just wanted to make sure if you will be accepting them maybe a couple months from now, when just to see how the COVID-19 situation kind of unfolds. So will you be? How long are you accepting deferrals?
So the deferrals process can happen at any time before you join. I do want to stress at this point that deferrals are not always guaranteed. They have to be agreed with your department or your school at the university. So it's a case of speaking to HR, who will speak to the school and department on your behalf and talk to them about the possibility of a deferral for you. So you're right. We have started processing deferral requests, and my understanding is that they're reviewed on a case-by-case basis, and we're not going to stop processing them at any point.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. First of all, मैं फिर से अपने ऑडियंस को इन्फॉर्म करना चाहूँगा वो स्टूडेंट्स जो भी हमने रिसेंटली देखे लाइव सेशन हो रहा है हमारा मैनचेस्टर यूनिवर्सिटी का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हमारे साथ अवेलेबल है। आपकी जो भी क्वेरीज है आप अपनी तमाम क्वेरीज को लाइव क्लियर कर सकते हैं। रिलेटेड हायर से है, फी स्ट्रक्चर है, यूनिवर्सिटी से रिलेटेड है, आप एडमिशन से रिलेटेड कंफ्यूज आपकी जो भी तमाम क्वेरीज है आप अभी हमें लाइव कॉल कर सकते हैं 0346 4747 पर आपकी तमाम क्वेरीज को क्लियर किया जाएगा। Yes, Miss Nadia, over to you. You can ask queries.
Yes, I guess we should go with the next question. Omar, you are here. Omar Gul.
Omar, can you hear us?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Thank you. I do have a couple of questions, if they could be answered. Number one, I would reiterate Sarah's question about the COVID-19 situation. That, for example, we do come to Manchester in October 2020, and you're saying that there is going to be a blend of online classes and face-to-face interaction. So, what is going to be, what are we getting by, coming to Manchester if the classes of some September 20 first semester would be online? That is my first question.
Okay. So yeah, so very similar to Sarah's question. What you'd be getting, so the first semester is not intended to be entirely online. It will be that combination. So the lecture content that you would normally consume in a lecture theatre, kind of semi-passively as a student anyway, taking notes and things, will be online. But the face-to-face value, we think, is in the seminar sessions, where you get a chance to ask your tutor face to face anything that you don't understand, and anything that they can kind of support you with, that you are kind of have questions about or struggling to grasp from the classes. So I do think that it's that there's something to be gained from that face to face teaching. Obviously, we understand that there is a risk. The situation is very changeable at the moment. But we are very hopeful as stuff begins to open in the UK. You might have seen that things like schools are beginning to reopen. We've got some shops that are looking to start reopening, and we're very hopeful that we will be able to deliver on the blended approach. And I do think that that still has some value for students, hopefully. Did you have another question, Omar?
Yes. My second question would be that don't you think that an online session would affect our employability in the future? Because as far as I'm concerned, online courses, they don't add that much value in comparison to a proper face-to-face master's degree. So we can there are many online courses available for free from Harvard or Stanford. All you need to do is pay for the certificate. So my question is, don't you think our employability prospects will be affected if we are going to take an online semester?
Okay. It's a very fair question, and I think it's one that lots of students are wondering about. The short answer is no, not really, because the kind of content that you get, and the kind of teaching that you get, and the kind of contact with world leading tutors, who are, most of our tutors are participating in world leading research in their fields alongside teaching. Part of it is access to those people. So that will remain the same. Whether you're learning online or not, you'll still have one-to-one consultations with your tutors. You'll still be able to drop into their office hours. You'll still be able to access their lectures and seminars on a variety of topics that they are very close to and that they are undertaking world-leading research in. So there's value from that perspective. And then from the employer's perspective, there are a couple of things. Firstly, employers in the UK are acutely aware of the situation. They know that everybody around the world who's studying a degree anywhere in this climate will have to go through some changes in order to be safe at this time. They understand that, and they will expect that. Secondly, when employers look at your certificate, the University of Manchester has very good brand recognition amongst employers. We've been consistently voted the most targeted university by top employers this year and over the past couple of years, in a piece of research that gets done in the UK yearly. And I don't think that the fact that a portion of your degree is online will diminish that. I think that employers will recognize that Manchester still will deliver the same high quality teaching that we usually do, albeit through a different medium. And therefore, I think that a Manchester degree and a UK degree will carry the same employability benefits that it would any other year.
Thank you, Chris. We are taking
Thank you.
next inquiry. Yes, Miss, please. We are taking next inquiry. Yes, Miss Fatma, can you hear me?
Fatma, are you listening us?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Fatma, just
Um,
introduce yourself and tell us which program you get the offer from the University of Manchester, or are you looking for any applications?
Yes, okay. So basically, I am going to study from September in the course of MSc Statistics. So, and luckily, I'm living here in Manchester. So basically,
Okay.
my question is that if there any open days are coming, so we have opportunity to get interact with our professors and to get familiar with the environment.
Thanks, Fatima. That is an excellent question and a very kind of timely question actually as well. So in terms of open days, obviously you're living here in Manchester. Hopefully you're enjoying your time in Manchester, even though we're still in lockdown. You'll be aware that the campus is currently closed, but we are running 2 virtual open weeks. One is the undergraduate virtual open week, which won't be relevant to you, Fatima, but may be relevant to some people watching who might be at high school or an international school. That's next week. And then on the 2 weeks after that, so let me just get the date for that correctly. We are offering a postgraduate open week. So what that will look like is it will be a series of online sessions on all kinds of different things. So the idea is to give you the experience that you would get from a normal open day, to interact with the university staff about things like what it's like to study in Manchester, what support services are available, what can you study at Manchester, why Manchester over the USA, those kinds of things. But there will also be some international specific sessions. So for example, I and my other colleagues who work in and partner with students in South Asia will be running a panel session for South Asian students. So we're going to get some current South Asian postgraduate students to talk about their experiences of Manchester and what it's like to be a South Asian student in Manchester. So the postgraduate open week is happening in, let me just find the date for you, and the undergraduate week is next week. Let me just find the start date of the postgraduate week for you. Postgraduate week will start on, okay, so it is Monday the 29th of June to Friday the 3rd of July. That's the postgraduate open week. And in order to register for those, you can find them on our website. If you just Google University of Manchester Virtual Open Week, you'll be able to find those on our website. Does that answer your question, Fatima?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Next we go with the Talal. Talal, are you hearing us?
Yes, I'm.
Okay, Talal, can you please give your introduction and the course you are looking for the Manchester?
Yeah. So, hey Chris, my name's Talal, and I'm gonna go for the Masters in Business Analytics program in October. I'm looking forward to start by October actually. So I was just wondering, first thing, when is gonna the CAS thing get finalized? I just saw that your academic year got finalized, and like leading on from that, I think the CAS can be finalized pretty much soon. And second question is, like according to my degree, like I was just wondering, like which campus does my program focus on? The Fallowfield campus or the main city campus? Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Talal. So first question was about the issuance of CAS. So
Yeah.
obviously we're all aware that lots of the visa centres are closed at the moment. This is another reason why our start of year approach is designed to be somewhat flexible. So obviously we're recognising that even if your visa is approved a little bit later than it would be, you can study online and join us after. I actually just immediately before this came out of a briefing with our student immigration team at Manchester, who are extremely knowledgeable about this stuff. And their advice was that they think they will be able to start issuing CAS letters at the end of June. They're waiting on some government decisions in order to be able to do that. But their advice is that anybody who is planning to apply for a visa should start to prepare now in order that they can get their application in as soon as the centres reopen. So we're going to try and issue our CAS letters as early as possible. But again, we're kind of constrained by the closures and we're waiting for some further government advice on that. But you can, if it ends up, if you applied late or you didn't prepare right now, then you would be able to study a bit online and then join us when your visa was approved. But the advice at the moment is prepare as early as possible to make sure that you're ready to file and submit as soon as you can. The second part of your question was about where exactly you would study your course. Can you just remind me, Talal, which was your course?
Masters in Business Analytics.
Business Analytics. Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, you would be in the main university campus, which is located on Oxford Road, which kind of runs out of the centre of Manchester and into Fallowfield. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate with my hands. I hope you get the idea. So
yeah, sure.
The centre of Manchester is here. There is one road that runs out of Manchester. So this is the very centre. Greater Manchester is really, really big. Centre of Manchester, one road, Oxford Road, runs all the way out to Fallowfield, and the university is kind of in the middle here, right? Mm-hmm. Your business school is right in the middle on Oxford Road itself. So you'd be right in the heart of the main university campus. It would take you maybe 15 minutes to walk from the main campus into the centre of the city. Equally, it would take you about 20 minutes to walk out into Fallowfield, where lots of the student accommodation is. So yeah, the business school is right in the middle, and they have just opened last year a new big business building, which is exclusively for business students. It's got its own library, it's got state-of-the-art lecture theatres, study spaces, rentable laptops and iPads and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you would be in there with fellow business students.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For next questions, मैं अपने तमाम ऑडियंस को एक दफा फिर से अनाउंस करना चाहूँगा यहाँ पर कि जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं हमारे बहुत ही इंफॉर्मेटिव सेशन कंटिन्यू है हमारे साथ अवेलेबल है मिस्टर क्रिस जो कि इंटरनेशनल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है मैनचेस्टर यूनिवर्सिटी के हमारे साथ में अवेलेबल है साथ एचआर के यूके मैनेजर तो वो स्टूडेंट्स जो अप्लाई करना चाह रहे हैं मैनचेस्टर यूनिवर्सिटी में अभी हमें लाइव कॉल करें 0346474043 पर आपकी जो भी क्यूरीज है एप्लीकेशन से रिलेटेड है एडमिशन से रिलेटेड है फाइल से रिलेटेड है फीस स्ट्रक्चर से रिलेटेड आपकी जो भी क्यूरीज है आपके तमाम क्यूरीज को लाइव क्लियर किया जाएगा अभी कॉल कीजिए 0346474043 पर या फिर अभी हमें नीचे कमेंट सेक्शन पर आप अपनी क्यूरीज क्लियर कर सकते हैं नाउ ओवर टू यू मिस मारिया
Ji Tahir, thank you so much. Now we go for this Sufyan. Sufyan, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. I can hear you.
Please give your introduction and the program title which you are going for the University of Manchester.
Actually, ma'am, I'm Sufyan. I'm from Lahore, Pakistan, and I have done BS in Aviation Management from Lahore, and I am looking for MS in Supply Chain or related to Operations Management. So I just want to know, like, University of Manchester is offering or not. I'm interested in this university because my maternal uncle, he has done PhD in mathematics from this university. And I have been to UK before. Unfortunately, my college has been closed by UKD at that time. So I came back to Pakistan and I started my undergrad degree over here. And now I'm looking for a master's degree in UK.
So Sufyan, did you apply in the University of Manchester or are you looking for the applying?
I haven't applied yet, but I'm looking forward to apply. Yes.
Okay. So Chris, over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sufyan. So I'm glad to hear that your relation has studied at Manchester. That's really positive, and I'm glad that you've been to the UK before. I hope you. It sounds like you enjoyed your experience. If you're going to try and plan to come back, to answer your question about courses, yes, we do have master's courses in supply chain management and operations management. If you go to our website manchester.ac.uk, you can search all of our courses by keyword. If you search supply chain in the master's search, or operational management, operations management, you'll be able to find all of the details there. The entry requirement for those is usually an undergraduate degree, a bachelor's degree, which you have. We say a good bachelor's degree. Anything that can be termed as an equivalent to a UK 2-1 degree. HR consultants can help you with that if you need guidance about the admissions criteria. And in terms of when to apply, I would say that usually I'd be telling you it's too late to apply for 2020 and you should be looking to apply for 2021. This year, obviously, we have some exceptional circumstances and most of our courses are still accepting applications. So there's a chance, obviously we still have lots of other applications to deal with, but there's a chance that you could submit a late application if you wanted to, or you can look into applying for 2021. Does that answer your questions, Sufyan?
All right, thank you so much, Chris. I would like to ask something else there, like if I pay my fees in advance, full fees of my course, so can I get some like discount or a little bit scholarship? Is there any policy?
So in terms of discounts, we don't usually operate fee discounts at the University of Manchester. There are some scholarships available for master's study, but I would be saying that if you need to look for a scholarship, you should probably look for 2021 because the common scholarships for Pakistani students, like the British Chevening Scholarship, for example, is closed for 2020. But there are a couple of places you can look. You can speak to HR, obviously, about where you should look for scholarship advice. But the university itself usually offers scholarship awards based on the course that you want to study. So if you were in the business school, for example, they have various different scholarships for people wanting to study masters in business. So it's always worth checking our website to see whether we have any funding available. Those scholarships from us will be partial scholarships. They won't usually be full scholarships. The full scholarships will be external ones like Chevening. So I would advise you to get in touch with HR, have a chat to them about your funding options and how to submit your application. Does that help, Sufyan? Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Can I ask last question, please? Last one. I just want to ask about PSW. Is there any like information regarding PSW, like how much is going to over?
Yeah, of course. So that's a really good question and probably relevant to everybody on the course. So thank you, Sufyan, for asking that as your last question. So the PSW, you guys will have read in the media that it is making a return in the UK. The UK government is looking to reinstate the PSW. It has a slightly different name now. It's going to be called the Graduate Immigration Route. So the Graduate Immigration Route will be open to anybody who graduates, who finishes their degree program from the summer of 2021 onwards. So if you entered in 2020, you would then be eligible to apply for the Graduate Immigration Route visa. The UK government, while it's not in law yet, the UK government has indicated to UK universities that they are still intending to honour the implementation of this route despite the COVID-19 crisis. So our understanding is that that will still happen. You will still get the graduate immigration route. And I should point out as well that the graduate immigration route will allow you to stay in the UK to look for work or work for up to 2 years. So it gives you 2 extra years to find a job. And our understanding is that that will happen. We are very confident that that will happen. So even though it's not in law yet, the government have indicated to us that that will happen. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
Sufyan. And I believe you need to contact as soon as possible to the HR team in Lahore office. Plus, we have all offices are working online too, so you can place your application to Tahir. Has already given the number. My number is also given. So our HR team is here to support you. So please place your application as soon as possible so that you can get and able to get an admission into Manchester. The next one will be Umar. Umar, are you here?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you, Umar. Umar, Chris is with us. So please introduce yourself and tell us the course you are looking for at Manchester.
Yes, sorry I got disconnected earlier. I'm Umar Kul from Peshawar, Pakistan. I'm a master's master's holder for business analytics at Lions Manchester Business School. So basically, I have a couple of more questions that needed to be asked. Number one, don't you think that the costs would be affected if there are online classes for the first semester, and suppose a student is not coming to Manchester and is opting for the online sessions? So don't you think that the costs for the tuition fee should be significantly reduced?
Thanks, Omar. That is a question that we get asked very often. The university leadership team has made a decision on this, and the decision is, unfortunately, that we will not be offering tuition fee reductions for this year. And the rationale behind that is that you still get access to the same staff, to the same knowledge, to the same teaching, and you will be able to hopefully join us on campus for some face-to-face teaching. So the online option is not viewed as inferior. The qualification you gain from studying online will still be a full University of Manchester master's degree. So for that reason, we're not unfortunately offering tuition fee discounts. But thanks for the question, Omar.
All right. Finally, I needed to ask that, for example, we don't want to opt for the first semester, which is online. So can we defer till how long can we defer? For example, can we defer till January 2021 or till September 2021?
Thanks, Omar. So yeah, the first part of that question is that the university is processing deferral requests now, so you can put in deferral requests now if you want to. I think I said to Sarah, I believe it was before, that deferrals are not guaranteed. They have to be agreed with the department or the school admissions team. So if you want to defer your business school offer, you would have to contact the admissions team. HR can help you to do that. And the second part of the question is kind of tied to the first one, in that deferrals are considered on a case-by-case basis. So there is no deadline by which you have to defer. And I would actually encourage you to hold off. If the online learning is your concern, I would encourage you to wait until we have more information about what the UK's situation will look like in autumn before you make a final decision on deferral. You will be able to defer only by one full year. So you can't defer to enter in January. If you deferred your entry, it would be to enter in September 2021.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Umar, and thank you, Chris, for this answer. Chris, basically, if you have listened to our questions of the students, so normally, it depends on the different, and they are more concerning about the online learnings, and the how the things will be going up. But I believe we should all wait for the till first week of July, so that the things should be clear from the UK government side, so that everybody we will be working on the same lines, on the same protocols, which will the government will be introduced and the institutions will be then definitely will be inviting to us. I hand over to the Tahir. Tahir, do you have any online inquiries or any online questions we have this student side?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, Tahir.
Yes, I can hear you, Tahir. Yeah.
Student is asking about IELTS. That what's the requirement for IELTS for bachelor and master program? Can you tell us?
Yeah, sure. So all of our programs at bachelor's and master's level require international students to demonstrate a level of English language proficiency. Usually, as you've noted, that would be an IELTS test. There are some other types of tests, such as TOEFL IBT, that we also accept as equivalent to the IELTS. There are lots of different requirements across the university. Generally speaking, you would be looking at what for undergraduate, maybe a 6 overall or a 6.5, depending on the course. Masters, most of the courses will want 6.5 overall. And depending on the how the course is, they may also ask for a 6.5 in writing as well. So for IELTS, that's the general gist of the qualifications, but it depends on the exact course. And I mentioned before the course search engine on the website. The IELTS requirement is listed under entry requirements on all of our course pages. I suppose there's another part to that question, which is which test do we accept? We have changed our policy a little bit to help with the COVID-19 situation. So we now, in recognition of the fact that IELTS test centres are closed in much of the world, we're now accepting the online TOEFL IBT Special Home Edition and the language cert B2 or B2 or C1 communicator online qualification. So the TOEFL Special Home Edition and the language cert online, those have been approved. We have lots of other online English tests under review at the moment. I would say the one that we have said that we won't consider is the IELTS Indicator online test. So I would urge students, if you're going to do an online test, do the TOEFL IBT Home Edition, not the IELTS Indicator. Yeah, does that answer that question, Tahir?
Okay. That means it's not the same requirement for all courses.
Not the same requirement for all courses. No, we have individual requirements for each course, and it depends on the level of writing and speaking and that kind of thing that you're expected to do during the course. So for example, for something like mechanical engineering, the requirement may be slightly lower than the requirement for history, where you have to write and read a lot, for example. So it's always worth checking the website.
Yes, yes. We just need to tell all the students that University of Manchester is a prestigious institution and they are the part of the Russell Group. So when we are talking about the high rank institution and the research-based institutions, so normally the IELTS requirement is slightly bit higher than other institution, and the IELTS requirement is depend on the subject to subject, and it depends on department to department. And the as per Chris, it's always better to check the website on the university page, or the people can contact to the HR counselors, and we people are trained here to support you about the University of Manchester admission. So every counselor at HR is trained by the university staffs too. So you can contact the HR staff, and people can able to get you a brief detail about the program, about the entry requirement. One more thing I want to add here for University of Manchester, that normally the students in Pakistan, they think that they are always come with the late application. So if you are looking for really applying for University of Manchester, so you need to be quick, because as I have already asked this question, and Chris has told you that the application procedure at University of Manchester, especially for the postgraduate, is staged admission. So if you are applying late, so probably you're not able to get the admission for this year. So Chris, can you please tell us about the work placement opportunities offered by the University of Manchester?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So many of our courses offer what we call an industrial placement year. So for undergraduate, you would see it as course name with an industrial placement year. What that means in an undergraduate degree is that you would study for 2 years at the university, you would work in industry for the 3rd year, and then you would return to university for the 4th year to study with us. So those industrial placement years are really valuable to employers. They offer them in all different kinds of courses. So if you're looking at undergraduate engineering courses, You can do industrial placement in engineering companies. If you are studying in the business school, you can do an industrial placement year at a business, and the tutors on your course will support you in finding those industrial placements. So the business school particularly, but also engineering, many of the staff have worked in that particular industry, and they have links to companies that we usually send students to work at. Equally, you can, if you know a company already, you can run that past the department. They will stamp it and say that's okay, and you can go and work at a company that you know. So that's for the undergraduate level. At the master's level, we don't usually, because our master's courses are 1 year, and we have a lot of content to cover in that 12-month period. We don't usually do industrial placements as part of our master's courses. However, the master's courses in the areas that I mentioned before, particularly in business, are created with the aim of getting you into a career in that field. So the fact that that course doesn't have an industrial placement is not necessarily a disadvantage, because the knowledge that you are gaining is still desirable by employers. Also, on a student visa in the UK, on a tier 4 student visa, you are permitted to work alongside your studies. So you can work up to 20 hours per week, usually, on your student visa. So what that means is that you can gain that kind of industrial experience, that work placement experience, through a part-time internship, perhaps at a company that you're interested in working at, alongside your study at weekends or in the evenings or whatever it may be. And the university has a careers service whose full-time 9 till 5 job it is to help our students find work placements and work after they graduate. They are extremely good at their job. They'll be able to advise you where to look. They can help you write your job applications. They can help you optimize your CV. They can do mock practice interview sessions with you, where they'll sit across a table and ask you questions. And I can attest to the success of the careers service, because when I was a student, I went to them and said, I need an internship. I want to be able to get a job after I graduate. They recommended me an internship in the university's international office. I did that internship for 1.5 years, and now I am in a full-time job as an international officer at the University of Manchester, thanks to the support of the careers service. So all of those types of things are available. The careers service also organise a yearly big careers fair where they will invite top employers onto the campus, similar to a university fair. You can go around and talk to them and find out what kind of skills they want and what kind of graduates they're looking for and that kind of thing. So there's lots of support available, even if you're doing a master's that doesn't have technically have an industrial placement.
That's good.
Okay.
Tahir, I have one question for you, Chris.
I have a question.
Sure.
Chris, can you tell us about the scholarships?
Okay.
And what
Yeah,
the requirement?
Sure. So most of the universities own scholarships. I mentioned before that they're mostly partial scholarships, which means they'll usually be in the region of a few £1,000s per year. Where those are available depends on the course that you're studying. So some departments, such as the business school, have lots of different master's scholarship options, and some, so for example, if you are studying languages, may have less scholarship options. Our internal scholarships are always based on merit. So academic merit is what I mean. So they will usually, for example, the business school scholarships are based on your initial application. So for the business school master's scholarships, you don't need to do any extra work or application. They will let you know based on your application for the course whether you're eligible for that scholarship. Not all of the departments have scholarships available, so I would urge students to do their research on their course area at Manchester. And if there are no scholarships from the university available, which is possible, they can look to other sources of funding. They can speak to the British Council, who have very close links to the UK government, and apply for things like the British Chevening Award, which is a UK government initiative. I've also seen students sometimes get funding from the Higher Education Commission. So there are various external sources where university funding isn't always available. Does that answer the question, Tahir?
Yes, yes, this answers the question. Chris, one important thing that I have seen the University of Manchester program. So some of their programs are run by the partner institutions, like with the architecture, your partner institution with MMU. So you are running School of Architecture at Manchester. So same way, is there any other courses where you run with some partnership with other institutions?
As to my knowledge, no, the architecture program is unique in that way. So you're aware that we run the Manchester School of Architecture in collaboration with Manchester Metropolitan University, MMU. The architecture course is the only course we have that is like that. And I would advise students interested in architecture to speak to MMU about the administration of that course. When you get that degree, it has both certificates on it, and it is from both institutions. But in reality, most of the teaching and the administration for architecture happens just 10 minutes down the road from us at MMU. But no, I don't think there are any other courses. Oh, sorry, there is one. There's our music course is run in collaboration with the Royal Northern College of Music, which is a very prestigious music college in the UK. But those are the only two programs that I'm aware of.
Okay. Tahir, do you have any question from the students?
Thank you. You can ask.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chris. It's nice to see you here, and it was a great session. The students has a lot of concerns due to the COVID-19. The people are going to spend a huge amount of money. So that's why they are very concerning, especially the students who has already paid the deposit. So that's why. But I believe there's a good news, and there will be a good hopes that the students are able to join the universities in September 2020. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm very hopeful. The situation, I'm optimistic, but we are, as an institution, we are prepared for all situations. So
Okay.
we'll support students whatever happens.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much
Thank
to
you.
be here and to join the HR. Thank you so much, all the people who are looking us and who are just here to see the University of Manchester presentations, and who are listening us. And stay safe and stay happy. Thank you, and be
Thanks,
safe.
guys.
Thank you.